Okay, what we're going to be looking at today is creating histograms with Google Sheets. So in front of me, I have my data set. This is employee pay at different school districts across the state of Texas. I've taken a subset, about 3,000 rows, just so that we can work with it more easily. You can see that we've got some ethnicity and role columns, as well as expertise, or experience rather, and then the very important total pay. For right now, my histogram is just going to look at the total pay column. Histograms are really good for determining the spread of the data, importantly so that you can identify outliers in your data set. So I want to know where most of the values lie in this data set. And I want to see, are there any people who are getting paid very, very small or very, very large amounts? Now I could sort just by this column and kind of give it visual eyes. I could give it, I could also do a median or an average and kind of get a single number that would exemplify like what's happening in this column. But I really want a little bit more information. So that's where the histogram comes in handy. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to select the column that I want to visualize in my histogram. In this case, it is column G, total pay. And I want to come up here to Insert and Chart. And look at that. When you select just a single column, Google is like, hey man, I know what you're all about. And it gives you the histogram right away. If it didn't give us a histogram, if it gave us something squiggly and weird like this line chart and you were like, terrifying, just come over here to chart type from this little sidebar that popped up in the right hand. And then histogram is always going to be, if you scroll down under other, it's usually the second option there. So just click that. It's hard to see things at this level. I can tell that most of my teachers are in this-ish range, but I don't know what this-ish means. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to send this to its own sheet so I can get a better look. Things are going to get bigger, a little bit easier to understand. So there are these 3 dots on the chart itself. I want to come down and click on Move to its own sheet. Once I do that, now you can see, beautiful, it's in its own sheet. I can hover, I can see most teachers. Well, first of all, let's explain what the axes mean. The y-axis here is the count of the values in your spreadsheet. And the x-axis is going to be that variable that you picked, column G, which was employee total pay. So the way that you would read this is 679. Visually, we can see that that is the most in our group. 679 teachers make between $62,500 and $65,000. So this is kind of, and then you can see these big bars are where most of our teachers fall. We also have like a decent number of people falling over here, but toward the edges, this is where our outliers are. This is where we can visually say like, oh gosh, only two people get paid this much. That's kind of odd. We might want to look into those a little bit. Or like, these are supposed to be full-time teachers. Who is this full-time teacher making only $2,500 to $5,000? Like, we might have questions about that. That's how you do a histogram in Google Sheets.